Mrs. Ramadevi, Director Emerging Technologies, Mr. Srinivasu, Deputy Commissioner VSEZ, on the stage, please. I am Amarnath Reddy Atmakuri, Chief Relations Officer with the IT Department, and we are here for the release of the IT Annual Progress Report 2021-22. Now let me invite our Principal Secretary, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, to welcome the gathering and set the tone for the today's event.
Honorable Minister, Mr. KT Ramarao, Honorable TSTS Chairman, Shri Jagan Mohan Garu, Consul General of the US Government, Mr. Joel Reifman, STPI Director, Shri Ram Prasad Garu, SEZ Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Reddy, my colleagues, most importantly, members of the IT industry, IT associations, media representatives, invitees. I would like to welcome all of you for this annual gathering, which we have been observing without fail continuously for the last 8 years. This is the 8th time that we are announcing our annual performance in this public forum. Normally, government departments are not known for their openness, their transparency. People keep complaining that everything is very opaque, information does not come out. But on the contrary, as I said, for the last 7 years in a row and 8th year this time, we are publishing a document on what all have we achieved, where did we plan to go at the beginning of the year, where have we actually reached, and obviously what are the directions, what are the goals for the coming year. One amazing thing about our performance over the last 7 years is, first of all, we have outperformed all other comparable cities in our country. People typically compare Hyderabad to a Bangalore. We all know that since we are a part of the same industry. But today we feel very proud that on many counts our performance has been much superior to other comparable cities. Obviously we are far above the national average. And most importantly, in certain strategic areas, for example, how are we encouraging talent development? How are we encouraging technology-enabled innovation, entrepreneurship, startups? How are we utilizing emerging technologies? How are we spreading the growth of IT in smaller cities and towns? How are we attracting niche companies into our state and our city? In all these specialized verticals, our performance is far exceeding our own expectations. And for that, first of all, I would like to convey my gratitude and thanks to Honorable Minister for his leadership, because eventually lots of action can happen on the ground, provided there is a very comprehensive vision, far-sighted policies, and on-the-ground support. And I should admit that all this is happening continuously for the last 8 years because of the presence of our minister at the helm. And of course, he has the complete backing of Honorable Chief Minister. So whatever are the requirements, we have been getting very prompt and very agile approval from Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Minister himself, which gives us the strength to turn around all these visions and ideas into reality. I would also like to convey my appreciation for the strong team that we have in the IT department. I see many of them here. Each of them have taken responsibility in delivering what has been expected of them, and because of them and their colleagues in different wings of our IT department, today we stand so tall and so proud of all our achievements. I would also like to convey my most sincere gratitude to the industry, because eventually it is they who are the carriers of all our ambitions, our aspirations, our dreams. And I'm very happy that unlike other cities about which we continue to get all kinds of feedback, The industry is completely united here. They speak in one voice. There is no discrimination at all between a large company or a mid-scale company or a young startup. So the ecosystem that has emerged here, the technology ecosystem, that is something which people cite example of. In fact, I have attended lots of national level seminars and conferences and closed door discussions, etc. And people are actually envious of the kind of environment and ecosystem that prevails in Hyderabad. So my compliments to all of you. All of you have also seen through 2 very difficult years caused due to this pandemic, and you have worked together with the government to ensure that the transition earlier from office to work from home was smooth. And now that pandemic is completely behind us, you are also motivating your employees to come back and resume duty from your workplaces. So I'm, as I said, I'm always grateful to the strong partnership that the industry has shown towards the government, and I do hope that in years to come, this will go from strength to strength. So today, as I said, is a momentous day. We are going to share with you what all has been achieved during the last year of 21-22. In a few moments from now, Honorable Minister will be revealing the figures, and they are really astounding. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I myself had not imagined that we would be able to reach such heights after 12 months, but fortunately that is the reality today. And let us, once we know the figures, I'm sure we would all like to congratulate each other for this stupendous success. But I may not be able to get a chance to come to the mic again. So congratulations in advance to all of us, and let us have a proud and wonderful year ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You said stupendous numbers. Last year was stupendous. We had 46,000 new jobs despite Corona. So we'll have to see what kind of stupendous numbers we have for this year. Sir, one point you made, whether it is a large company or a small company or a small investor, we give the same reception. Sir, I would like to say, and I think all of the gathering here would agree, you led by example, sir. Whether it is a startup or a small SME or a large company, the reception was the same in the department. And we thank you, sir, for all the leadership. Now, I would also like to recognize some of the industry bodies here. We have representation from NASSCOM, please, NASSCOM, and from SCSE, Hyderabad Security Council, from AmCham, from TAI, from TWAGA. So we have representation from all the industry bodies, and specifically, we have the HYSIA team here, the president of HYSIA, the COO, the secretary of HYSIA, the newly elected team. They have been rendering a lot of support and been the confederates for the state in terms of our growth. And I also would like to recognize there are a few real estate developers here and some IPCs who have been promoting the city. Now, on behalf of all of them, I would request the HYSIA President, Manisha Sabu, to come here and speak a few words.
Good morning, everybody. It was 2016 when I attended the policy launch, the IT policy launch for Telangana. I was sitting there listening to the visionary statement and the big goals we were setting for the state. 6 years, today, we observe that it's not just we achieved all the goals that we set for ourselves, we actually exceeded them. That really makes me feel extremely proud to be part of the IT fraternity of Telangana. It's extremely important to have vision because that is what drives us, and the policy makes it, actually gives it shape and makes the whole framework ready for achieving the vision. As Infosys Center Head, I feel that Telangana government means business and understands business. Because we get immense support from government, whatever we meet government representatives, or sometimes even something related to land or anything related to any of the statutory compliances. We get immense support, and that is reflected in the growth that we are seeing in the large organization who are setting up who are setting up their organizations in Hyderabad or in Telangana. We are also seeing growth in various tier 2 cities too. And this is immensely important, because it's not just about getting new businesses here, it's also about nurturing the ones which we have here. Many of you will agree with me when I say that, I repeat myself, Telangana government understands business and means business. As HYSIA president, we want to join hands with government to support the SMEs, to support innovation, to make sure that the new companies which want to come to Hyderabad come here, and now when they evaluate Hyderabad landscape with other cities in India, they put Hyderabad on top. And for that, we would like to work with the government. We would like to make sure that HYSIA, the IT industry, the IT fraternity, and all other associations together with government make the new policy stronger, which we will march towards our goal more confidently. I hope I have your support for this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Manisha. So for the development of the IT industry in Telangana, we have taken a sectoral approach. We've looked at different sectors. BFSI, banking, financial services, insurance, is a very important sector. And we have here two gentlemen, Ramesh Kaja, who is a senior MD at State Street, and Ravi Tangirala, who heads Mass Mutual for India. And Ramesh is a senior MD at State Street and Trust. It's the largest custody bank based out of Boston, US. He's also the CIO for India and head of strategy and transformation. And Ramesh, along with Ravi, have been a part of our advisory council for Telangana for investments. And now I request Ramesh to come here and say a few words about the BFSA sector and the growth in Hyderabad.
Greetings all. Thank you for the introduction, Amma. I am standing here primarily because of one gentleman, and I have to take that, give that credit to Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. When State Street visited Hyderabad in 2016 and looking for a second center to develop outside of Bangalore, while they visited many cities and finally ended up in Hyderabad, it's Mr. Ranjan who made sure that they sign the contract and leave the city. And I think the very reason I'm here in that company is because of him. And that made me to take the opportunity to serve the community through the advisory role for the IT minister. Joining hands with my friend and colleague, Ravi Tangirala, who is the CEO of Mass Mutual India. A year back, we had a breakfast meeting with Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, and we stemmed this thought that if we need to take the goal of moving away from the 700,000 people working in the IT and the IT-enabled services industry today, which is also expanding to the tier 2 cities very comfortably, primarily because of the pandemic. And if we need to take this goal from 700,000 to 1 million jobs, how do we do that? Banking, financial services, and the insurance industry is 40% of the IT job seekers across the world, not just necessarily only in India. And that means we are talking about a very decent 280,000 people in Telangana state today working on various aspects of the IT services business within this industry. If we need to reach that 1 million goal, we need to add at least 110,000 more jobs in this industry. And with almost 1.5 million engineers alone coming out of the colleges, and less than 3 lakh or 300,000 people getting into job, we do not know what the other people are doing today. That means there is a need for us to rethink about talent, maybe reskilling them, and most important, going back and redoing our education system. The second point I wanted to bring to your attention is, the moment we talk about any front office, be it a multinational bank or an India bank, we only hear one city in India, that is Mumbai, because the entire domain knowledge is limited to that particular city, and that's where most of the front offices come. A third, obviously, is the beautiful ecosystem this city has, whether it is related to the risk group or the NPCI organization and many other national organizations present here. Are we really utilizing the entire ecosystem? This is exactly where the idea of the Bfsa consortium got initiated. Joining hands with me and Ravi is also Mamta Madhireddy, the center head for HSBC Hyderabad, Vizag and Kolkata, who is probably not here today, she is traveling, and Subba Pereppa, who is the managing director from JP Morgan, and Simar Singh, ex-UBS, now KPMG Bfsa head. 5 of us, working with all of the Bfsa leaders, have got 4 major areas of focus. First, can we go back and relook at our education system? So we have joined hands with Srikant Sinha from TASC, connected with Mr. Naveen Mittal, who is focused on, who is a commissioner for education, to see if we can institutionalize the minor degree in finance at the grassroots levels of the engineering, or even, for that matter, BBA, BCom and other degrees. The second, obviously, is the risk and regulatory knowledge we need to build that will make Hyderabad the second destination, apart from Mumbai, to build up the domain capabilities here. That is how we can actually focus on the next 1 lakh jobs. The third is branding the city and branding the state. And now that we have many tier 2 cities that are already spread wings for IT, whether it is Khammam, Warangal, and Nalgonda and many other cities coming up, how do we make sure that we brand Telangana, not by having some random videos and other, but can we really build this message right? And the last one is forward engagement. How do we ensure that we invite those Bfsa companies that are not present in the state, but maybe in other cities like Pune, Mumbai, or other cities, and then ask them to probably relook at having a center? A recent example that our IT minister and Mr. Ranjan have done is inviting Goldman Sachs to come and set up office here. But how do we make sure that the Deutsche Bank, the Barclays, and many other companies that doesn't have a presence in Hyderabad but are present in India, how do we make them believe that this is the place to come? How do we make sure that the kind of discussions that our minister had in Davos gets into a standard operating culture so that the entire Bfsa fraternity works in bringing them to the state and talk about what we can do? That's the goal of this consortium. We are excited that we can join hands with all our colleagues and, most important, make this place the choice place for building the right kind of skills and technology. I look forward to that opportunity to partner with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ramesh. That's really exciting, creating a minors in finance, and that too partnering with TASC. On this occasion, I would request all of you to partner with TASC and create such exciting and innovative courses. Now we have the release of the TASC resource book. I would like to invite our CEO, Srikant Sinha, on the stage. And the Honorable Minister would be launching the TASC resource book. The resource book is launched on the occasion of the completion of 7th year of TASC. This resource book will help provide corporates as well as organizations with more insights into the activities of TASC. It contains the list of all the partners, programs and courses offered. Courses run directly by TASC in both ILT and OLT modes. The 350 plus corporates who regularly recruit candidates from TASC. District-wise list of all colleges registered with TASC, and many other useful information. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Mr. P. Jagan Mohan Rao, Chairman of TSTS, to say a few words.
Thank you. Honorable Minister KT Ramarao Garu and other dignitaries on the dais, it's very heartwarming to be part of this ceremony today, launch of annual report. 14 years of restless agitation and many sacrifices by the Telangana youth and Telangana people. We have achieved our separate state of Telangana in 2014. Before the formation of the state, there were many apprehensions from many people how this state is going to survive and how this state is going to perform after its formation. Like the leaders from the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh also raised doubts on the government may not be able to meet the basic needs of the people after if this state is formed. But after its formation, after 8 years of its formation today Telangana government is setting an example for the best governance in the country. It has come up with many initiatives, like Telangana government has come up with many initiatives under the efficient leadership of Honorable Chief Minister KCR Garu and IT Minister KTR Garu, like the T-Hub, which is the world's largest technology incubator. And after its success, like it has been a home for many startup companies. It has raised demand for the second phase of the T-Hub. And likewise, we have T-Works, we have TASK, and we also have Women Empowerment Hub. And all these are the excellent initiatives which are being taken as an example by other state governments of the country. So Telangana government is setting as an example for the best government in the country. And likewise, ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో ఈరోజు అమలవుతున్నటువంటి పథకాలు అభివృద్ధితో పాటు ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో అమలవుతున్నటువంటి పథకాలు దేశానికి ఆదర్శంగా నిలిచినాయి ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వం అమలు చేస్తున్నటువంటి పథకాలతో పాటు తెలంగాణ వర్తమానం అదేవిధంగా తెలంగాణ భవిష్యత్తు గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి కేసీఆర్ గారి చేతుల్లో ఉన్నంత వరకు మన తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రగతి దేశంలోనే మొదటి స్థానంలో ఉంటుందని చెప్పి మన తెలంగాణ ప్రజలందరూ నమ్ముతా ఉన్నారు. ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వంలో భాగస్వామ్యం అయినందుకు తెలంగాణ స్టేట్ టెక్నాలజీ సర్వీసెస్ కార్పొరేషన్ చైర్మన్గా నాకు అవకాశం దక్కినందుకు మరొకసారి గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి కేసీఆర్ గారికి, గౌరవ ఐటీ శాఖ మంత్రి కేటీఆర్ గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుతా ఉన్నాను. నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినందుకు మరొకసారి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుతూ జై తెలంగాణ.
Thank you, sir. There is no doubt about it. Like you said, there were many apprehensions, but despite the COVID year, we did absolutely really well. Last year, we generated 46,000 new jobs, and our growth was twice that of the national average. Now, I would like to invite the U.S. Consul General Joel Reifman. Mr. Joel Reifman assumed the post of the U.S. Consul General in Hyderabad on August 20th, 2019. Prior to this, Mr. Reifman served in various missions in Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Asmara, Eritrea, Pakistan, Iraq, and Panama. Mr. Joel Reifman.
Thank you so much, and Honorable Minister K.T. Ramarao, and Honorable Principal Secretary Jayesh Ranjan, distinguished guests. So I just came here, and so I'll speak extemporaneously. My term as CG, my 3-year term, is closing, and so I'll provide a few observations on why Telangana is really at the center of the U.S.-India partnership. Now, I have a bias because I've been here the last 3 years. But here are the things that I have seen, and they're quite frankly remarkable under the leadership of KTR and KCR as well, the Chief Minister. First of all, this economy is not one-dimensional. I know there's an IT focus here, but I call it a tripod economy in Hyderabad. So first there's IT and IT services, but then there is an incredibly strong pharma and biotech sector as well. which produces 40% of the world's vaccine, or excuse me, 1/3 of the world's vaccines and nearly 50% of India's bulk drug exports. And then there's an enormous aviation and defense sector, which in the United States, participation, both you have partnerships with Tata, with Lockheed Martin. They are producing C-130 empennages. They are producing F-16 wing sets. Boeing is producing Sikorsky helicopter fuselages. Pratt & Whitney has one of their largest training centers in the world. Honeywell is here, and many other companies. So coming back to IT, what's very impressive is that there's a service part of it. I know Deloitte has 40,000 people. There was an athletic awards before the lockdown, and there were so many people on stage, and it was all Deloitte folks, and when you see their building, you see why. But also the higher end ITs. We had one of our Deputy National Security Advisors for cyber technology here, who was very impressed, had a roundtable with leaders, and of the higher end blockchain and mapping that it's going on here. And that's going on here because the 5 largest companies in the world, all of which are American, so you have Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, all have their largest footprint outside the United States in the world right here in Hyderabad. That's remarkable. And deserving of applause. And then also just all of the new openings that we've seen where, we've seen Mass Mutual, Goldman Sachs, there's Micron Technology, so many more who have come here because this is a business environment where the leadership not only has vision, but it has execution. That's hard to find. Usually there's one without the other, but here you have both. And a little bit of an example is that my husband and I went out to spend our last visit to the Taj Falak Numa, and there was a new flyover that shaved about 15 minutes off of our drive. And throughout COVID, when everything was frozen, this government kept building infrastructure. And so that is really impressive, and that will keep literally things moving, but it is also augurs well for the continuing viability of Hyderabad and also Hyderabad's connectivity with the second-tier cities in Telangana. One other thing that really impresses me here is the ecosystem of chambers. So we have HICIA, NASCOM, TIE, CII, AmCham, and I sat on the board of, I was an advisor on the board of United Way. And I've never seen all these disparate groups work so much in harmony and with a purpose, a unified purpose, here than anywhere else. And it's extraordinary. And that's something I'm really going to miss being a part of. And finally, what you have here that's important and important to preserve is communal harmony. Part of the history is that this was a princely state. It wasn't even part of India as it approaches its 75th anniversary. So that happened a year later. And but again, you have in Telangana a relative communal harmony and a recognition that so many different groups have contributed to the history and the culture of Telangana. And so these are all the factors that I admire. They're also the factors that make me sad to leave, but I know you're in good hands, and all of you have done so much, especially on the innovation front with T-Hub, WeHub, and so I look forward to following you from afar, and I want to congratulate you on all of your success and wish you all the best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. You have been a great source of support for the city. We know your 3-year term is going to end on August 20th, 2022. But regardless of wherever you go, we expect that you would promote the city and be still a friend of us No matter, even if you go to our competitor, you're still promoting Hyderabad. Thank you. Now it's time to honor some of the tier 2 champions. The government has a lot of emphasis on promoting IT outside of the Western Corridor. Firstly, I would like to invite Genpact. Genpact was the first to set up a base in Uppal, and they're keeping their commitment to grow on the Eastern Corridor. And as part of phase 2, along with Ramki, they're developing a 15,000 employee campus in Uppal. And also Satish, who is here, he's the General Secretary for Rajakonda Security Council. We have established a separate security council for the Eastern Corridor to take care of the security, traffic, and other needs of the corridor. I would like to invite Satish and Nandakishore and Rajesh from Ramki to come here. And Project GenNext envisages a total development of approximately 2 million square feet of IT office space. This project will be completed in 3 years. This state of the office will be a composite and structured and classified as grade A office space. And it will employ about 15,000 people over various phases of the project. Thank you. Now, I would like to recognize Scient. They have started operations in January 2017 with 60 resources at the incubation center in Warangal. They have moved to their own facility in October 2019. They have taken a 5-acre land from the government and have built up a 75,000 square feet campus and a 600 seating capacity. And currently they are employing 300 associates in Warangal in the area of telecom. From Scient, please come on to the stage. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Subramaniam and Mr. Vinay Agarwal from Tech Mahindra. They are not only the hosts for this event today, but they've also set up a nice location, or they've taken they've started their operations on 1st January 2020 in Warangal, and they've taken 125 seats last year, and they're expanding further. Currently, they have 225 seats, and they're planning to scale up to 500 in the coming year. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite SoftPath from Warangal. SoftPath Systems is headquartered in Atlanta and founded by Mr. Ravi Chander and Sushma Roy in 1999. The company has been providing innovative technological solutions in digital transformations, master data management. SoftPath, please come. In Warangal, since March 2021, SoftPath has successfully employed 250 plus graduates, and they plan to scale it up to 500 in the next 2 years. Promoting tier 2 and locations outside of the Western Corridor is very important for the government. And the fact that we are honoring them is a testimony that the government is committed And we also have released the grid policy for promoting the tier 2 locations. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite A-Theeram from Warangal. A-Theeram. A-Theeram is an AVCGI company established in Warangal, primarily located in NIT Warangal campus. They released their IP, Pan-India mocap film Dheera. I don't know how many have seen it, but it was telecasted on multiple channels, and it is also on Amazon Prime. And it was voiced by 12 superstars in 12 states. And the company is currently developing services for a wide range of industries, including entertainment, edutech, healthcare, and agri-tech. Thank you. Next up, Quadrant in Warangal. I would like to invite a gentleman from Quadrant. Quadrant is a US-based cloud and data company established by Mr. Vamsi Reddy, a native of Warangal. And they create business value for Fortune 1000 companies by accelerating business innovation, enabling new growth, improving operational efficiency, and transforming the user experience. They have a delivery center in Hyderabad with 1,500 software engineers. And they're starting their own development center in Warangal, which will employ 1,000 software engineers in the next 5 years. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Aclat Healthcare Solutions, who are established in Karimnagar and looking at Warangal, Khammam, and Malakpet. Aclat Healthcare Solutions. They're headquartered in Washington, D.C. Mr. Sudhakar Rao, please come onto the stage, please. Mr. Sudhakar Rao. And Aclat was one of the pioneers in expanding to tier 2 cities in India. They were one of the first people to start their operations in Karimnagar. And they set it up in with 18 employees and opened a large state-of-the-art 15,000 square feet delivery center in Karimnagar in May 2016 with 108 employees. They are currently employing 230 employees with expansion plans to be at 500 employees in Karimnagar by the end of the year. And they've also made a commitment to 1,400 by 2023 across Warangal and Khammam in new delivery centers. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Samskruti from Karimnagar. Samskruti from Karimnagar, please come out to the stage. Yeah. The company is into digital marketing, web and IT development, serving North American and domestic clients. They have taken office space in Karimnagar IT Tower with a capacity of 40 members. And they have a total headcount of 80 members now, and by year end they will add 150 members and plan to take it to 500 employees by 2025. Samskruti from Karimnagar, please. And next up we have TechWave from Khammam. TechWave from Khammam. Mr. Damodar and Raju, please come. TechWave is a Houston-based company providing global digital services with multiple delivery centers in Telangana. They work with 500 plus global customers, including 10 in the Fortune 500 and 100 clients on various strategic digital transformation initiatives. They have doubled their headcount in Telangana to 2,000 employees now, and they have started a delivery center in Khammam last year and hired 225 resources. Next up, TechSky from Khammam. TechSky from Khammam. TechSky is a US-based company Rakesh Batina and Prakash Batina, NRIs in USA. They started operations in Khammam IT Tower with 150 employees. And they would like to increase the employees to 250 this year and 500 by 2025. Thank you. This is just to show the commitment of the government in promoting tier 2 cities and grid locations. Once again, thank you all. Now, I would like to bring focus to the mobility sector. Just like Bfsa, which is a very established sector, mobility sector is a growing sector, and government is putting a lot of emphasis on it. And here we have Mr. Pradeep Kumar, who is the head of R&D for Hyundai Mobis. You know, Pradeep spent about 20 years in the automotive sector. He spent 10 years in Germany, working for various companies, including Bosch, Continental and BMW. He's also a member of the Strategic Council for the Telangana Mobility Valley. I would like to invite Pradeep here onto the stage to speak a few words on the sector. He's also here with Mr. J.O. Cha, who is the MD of Hyundai Mobis, who is seated right there. Pradeep.
Thanks, Amar. Honorable Minister Garu, KTR, and other dignitaries on the dais, and my friends from the industry. I take immense pleasure in attending this IT event. And as a son of soil, I would like to say a few words with respect to mobility sector. And I have spent more than 20 years in the industry in various capacities across the globe, in Germany and in Europe. And I have seen multiple ecosystems in automotive. And I have landed in Telangana 5 years back and started working with Hyundai Mobis and in Hyderabad. So that was the time, just a few years, Telangana has formed, and around that time, mobility sector was not so much. It's probably 5 to 10,000 people, I would say. Now I would confidently say that it has reached about 50,000 people in and rapidly growing. And I have witnessed various mobility ecosystems worldwide, and Telangana government is actively working to create one of its kind of unique mobility ecosystem, and I would say this would be most progressive and forward-looking ecosystem in the world. So we are calling this as a Telangana Mobility Valley, and I personally have participated in several discussions in initiating this mobility ecosystem, and there were several stakeholders from the industry and government. And the mobility sector has a potential to grow at least and create 1 million jobs. I would say with this vision, it is possible cutting across all the segments like digitization, IT, engineering, R&D, manufacturing, and other services around it. And as the automobile has been transformed from a mere mechanical machine to almost a supercomputer, with the emphasis on safety, different control services to the human beings, with the advent of new technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision, data science, and embedded electronics around it. And it is a big part of modern car today. And this is going to give tremendous opportunities for bright engineers and skilled workers, especially from Telangana. I'm looking forward to it. And Telangana government is doing all the things right in creating the common infrastructure, ecosystem, and talent pool. We are also working with premier institutes to create center of excellence, to create more and more talent pool available for the industry to grow. And I'm very happy and pleased with the way Telangana Mobility Valley is shaping up. And as Steve Jobs once said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and the follower. And Telangana government has always shown that they are leader in creating innovative policies. And I'm sure that with Mobility Valley, Telangana will be uniquely positioned in India across the world. And I assure support from my side, and my MD, Mr. Jeocha, is also here. We assure that all support will be there to the government for next growth and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Pradeep, and special thanks to you and Mr. Jay Ocha. You've been participating in at least 100 discussions regarding Mobility Valley, and I would also like to recognize some of the stakeholders of the Mobility Valley here, ZF, Krish and Hyundai. We have Mr. Saradi, we have a gentleman from Stellantis, Radhika from Micron. So a lot of people have been participating in this, and things are coming out really well. And like Pradeep said, there were 10 or hardly 5 or 10,000 people 5 years ago. Today we have 50,000. It has a potential to cross a million, across all segments. Thank you, Pradeep, once again. Now we come to the main part of the event, the release of the IT progress report by the Honorable Minister. I'd like to invite all the department heads to come and join us for the report release on the stage. Mrs. Deepthi, Mr. Shailesh Reddy, the CIO. For the press and our other friends here, there is a QR code that you can download the report, and it is available online. It's also online on the department website, it.telangana.gov.in. Now we request the Honorable Minister, the captain of the ship, to come here and express his vision for the IT in the coming years and also deliver the numbers for the year 2021 and 22.
Thank you, Amar. గౌరవనీయులు మా ఐటీ శాఖ ముఖ్య కార్యదర్శి జయేష్ రంజన్ గారు, ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ సెక్రటరీ, గౌరవనీయులు అమెరికన్ కాన్సుల్ జనరల్ జోయల్ రైఫ్మన్ గారు, గౌరవనీయులు నరసింహారెడ్డి గారు, గౌరవనీయులు టీఎస్టీఎస్ చైర్మన్ జగన్మోహన్ రావు గారు, జీటీ వెంకటేశ్వరరావు గారు, రమాదేవి గారు, రాంప్రసాద్ గారు, ఇంకా వేదిక ముందున్న మన ఐటీ రంగానికి సంబంధించిన పరిశ్రమ ప్రతినిధులు, అదేవిధంగా పాత్రికేయ మిత్రులు, to all the friends from the media and all the representatives of various industry bodies including HICIA, Manisha. We have representatives of NASSCOM, AmCham. We also have representatives of CREDAI. We also have representatives of various other bodies. I would like to acknowledge and thank all of you for participating in this event. More importantly, to those of you who I have not acknowledged, my apologies in advance. I think your participation is what makes this, kind of eclectic and beautiful. Thank you very much for joining us today. Before I begin to talk about last year's numbers, I would like to quickly thank, the entire team of IT department. I think they and the entire industry, of course. I think for doing a stellar job over the last 8 years. I think all of us together have been able to ensure that Hyderabad and the flag of Telangana kept flying very high over the last 8 years. So I think my entire team deserves a huge round of applause. And to Jayesh and the entire team, my compliments to all of you for working really hard and working, especially through the pandemic, I think, where lots of people were uncertain, lots of people were not sure of what lied in store. And my team was just a text message away just a WhatsApp message away, and we were able to respond promptly, address a lot of issues, work with you, work together with the industry in ensuring continuity of services without any disruptions. Now, as most of you know, I think last 8 years, especially since we are reaching the 8th year tomorrow after the formation of the state of Telangana, most of these 8 years we've interacted a number of times, and I'm sure most of you will agree that it has been a very symbiotic, synergistic and congenial kind of engagement with the industry. That's how we've seen the industry grow, prosper, create employment opportunities, create wealth for the state, and also grow in terms of numbers. In fact, last year has been nothing short of stellar. It is, like Jayesh Ranjan said, it has surpassed even our expectations. For the year 21-22, Telangana has had a phenomenal growth in the IT and IT-enabled services sector, with an increase of 26.14% in the ITES exports, which is an astounding number. The previous year's numbers back in 2021 were 1,45,522 crores in terms of exports from Telangana. But this year, we have reached a total of 1,83,569 crores, which I think is an extremely impressive figure. But what's even more impressive, if you ask me, is the number of employees that have been added in this sector over the last 1 year. And remember, let me remind you, this was in the middle of a pandemic, when people were working from home, when there were a lot of apprehensions about people losing jobs, etc. Employment in the ITES sector has increased by nearly 24%, 23.78 to be precise. And I think this is extremely impressive because, nearly 1,49,506, and almost 1.5 lakh new jobs were added during 21-22. Now, just to give you a sense of a comparison as to how well Telangana has done compared to the rest of the country, I think I'll just give you those figures. As per the estimates of NASSCOM, over the last 1 year, approximately 4,50,000 new jobs have been added in the country, out of which 1,50,000 have been added in Hyderabad. So 1/3 of new jobs in the country, I think coming from Hyderabad is not a mean achievement, is not a mean feat. And also let me point out another thing. I just mentioned that Telangana grew at 26%, 26.14% over the last year in terms of IT exports. I also have to compare it to the national average. Of course, the national average also includes our numbers, but the national average, national export average, is at about 17.2%. So Telangana is almost 9% above the national export average, which goes to show you how well we have performed over the last 1 year. Let me also just quickly give you another reference point so that you can appreciate and understand how well Telangana has performed. In 2014, on the 2nd of June, when the state was formed, the IT exports from Telangana were at about 57,258 crores. So we have grown by more than 300%, more than 3 times. 57,258 then to 1,83,569 now, which I think is tremendous, and I think it is definitely something that you will all appreciate. Let me also tell you the numbers in terms of how many people were directly employed in the IT sector back in 2014. Back in 2014, the total employment in the IT sector, direct jobs, was 3,23,397. But now, after this latest report that has come out, it is about 7,78,121. So nearly 4.54 lakh new jobs have been added in the last 8 years. So that again is a humongous growth over the last 8 years. Of course, in fact, there was an estimate as per the United AP back in the day in 2014. We were expected to reach IT exports as a united state of 2,09,000 crores by 2035. 2,09,000 crores of IT exports by 2035 was I think even the mic system appreciates Is it working? Am I audible? Yes. Okay, good. Glad. So the export figures were expected to reach 2,09,000 crores as a united Andhra Pradesh by 2035, 13 years from now. But we are already, sorry? As per the ITIR estimate, the ITIR, when it was formulated by the UPA government back in 2013, they had estimated that this number would be 2,09,000 crores by 2035. But we are 13 years away from 2035, and I can proudly tell you that we are almost there. So I think that goes to show you the kind of growth, and without any ITIR, by the way, without any ITIR support or without any ITIR scheme, which is unbelievably impressive. The more important thing is the ITIR projections assumed a national GDP growth of 6% and optimistically about 7.5% when considering these numbers. But I think even though the country's GDP growth has slowed down, Telangana, with its kind of aggressive growth, has been able to achieve these numbers. So I think my compliments to the entire industry for performing extremely well, to HYCIA, to NASSCOM, to all the chambers of commerce who are gathered here. My compliments to all of you on your fantastic growth story, to the representatives from BFSI sector, to the representatives from mobility sector, to the representatives from other industry vectors who are already here. And more importantly, from my personal viewpoint, I think what's even more important from the state's perspective is an all-round holistic development. Now that can only happen when we continue to grow in other areas other than the western part of Hyderabad. To that effect, I'll come to the details in a bit, but I'm really, really happy and really excited about the kind of waves new companies and new technology, enterprises are coming forward. In fact, are coming forward with a lot of enthusiasm for opportunities in Warangal, in Karimnagar, in Mehboob-nagar, in Nalgonda, in Khammam, and more recently in Adilabad, and even in Ramagundam. So all of these actually are going to keep us in good stead in terms of what we can offer to our children. In fact, before I came onto the podium here, I had a quick, 5-minute chat with both Damodar and, Raj from TechWave. There's a very interesting, they made some very interesting comments. They said, we have started hiring from IIIT Basar, and we see that, these children actually do not need as much training as we assumed or we imagined they would, firstly. And secondly, they said attritions are really lower compared to a Hyderabad or a Bangalore in a tier 2 town. And more importantly, these youth working from their comfort zone will keep them, more productive and more loyal to our enterprises is what they felt. So my compliments, guys. I think that's a great analysis. And I do believe very strongly that this is what is going to propel us into the next, next orbit of growth. Now, just to name a few marquee investments that have come in over the last 1 year. Goldman Sachs, as you all know, is an investment banking giant, entered Hyderabad, and they have very aggressive plans to grow to almost 2,500 in about 3 years. And I think it's an extremely important addition to the BFSI sector. While there are others, like Ramesh pointed out, who need to join the club, I think Goldman Sachs joining us is, of course, a welcome addition. Now, consumer electronics manufacturer OnePlus, again a very popular electronics company, has made a debut in India through Hyderabad, making Hyderabad as a hub for making smart TVs. About 500 employees are currently involved in the production, and they're on their way to actually distributing 1 million smart televisions. The world's leading open innovation platform, called as Plug and Play, has also set up its center in Hyderabad, and I'm extremely proud that they've done it in a record time after our meeting in France. They opened their office in High-Tech City for catalyzing the growth of automotive startups in the city in partnership with startup Autobahn in Stuttgart, Germany. Mass Mutual, our dear friend Ravi Tangirala, has been very kind. A global leader in insurance services, has inaugurated a 2,000 employee facility in Nanak Ramguda. Stellantis, which is a Fiat Chrysler Peugeot setup, they have set up a digital presence and expanded its Hyderabad operations, targeting nearly 2,200 jobs by 2024. Again, a huge addition to the mobility sector, like Pradeep was pointing out. I think it's an extremely important addition, and I'm delighted that they are shaping up really well. Genpact, we're thankful to you guys, for laying the foundation for its campus in Uppal, mega campus in fact, 2.2 million square foot facility with 15,000 new jobs in the eastern corridor. I think that augurs very well for the all-round growth that is being envisioned by our Honorable Chief Minister for the city of Hyderabad and for Telangana at large. Also, as a commitment to government's grid policy, growth in dispersion policy, a foundation stone was also laid recently, and it will start, the construction would be started soon, for a 1 million square foot gateway IT park in Kandlakoya, in the northern part of Hyderabad. Good to see that, Venkat of Lasya is here, and I'm delighted that KTR, which is Kompalli Area IT Association, they have come forward. Nearly 200 companies have already applied for space, and I'm very confident that with Venkat and others from KTR also working closely with us, we'll actually have to build more in that part of the town as well. And I'm sure most of you have followed this news. American multinational Qualcomm, again, has announced its largest campus outside the US in Hyderabad, which will be operational. It's a 1.6 million square foot campus, which will be operational by October 2022. And this, of course, joins the big league. Qualcomm joins now the big league that Joel mentioned. Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Uber, Salesforce, Micron, ServiceNow, the list goes on. It's a huge list of marquee companies whose second largest base in the world is right here. In fact, Amazon's world's largest campus, I'm also happy to share with you, is actually in Hyderabad, not in Seattle. Let me also add that Bosch, a German MNC and a world leader in mobility, an industrial and engineering home appliances company, has also chosen Hyderabad as a strategic location with its Bosch global software technologies and R&D presence. They've started their office in High-Tech City and will employ about 3,000 people working on technologies such as cloud, AIoT, Internet of Things, ML, AI, cyber and embedded security. The groundbreaking was also done for Google's largest campus outside of their HQ, headquarters in Mountain View, California. A 3.3 million square foot energy efficient campus. The groundbreaking is done and now they're on their way to build a large campus with sustainable standards. Grid Dynamics, another very interesting company, a digital transformation company with offices across the US and Europe, has also announced to open its first presence in India with a headcount of nearly 1,000 by the end of this year. Government of Telangana has also entered into a MOU with Hyundai recently at Davos to basically be a part of one of its kind of Telangana Mobility Valley at Zahirabad. Hyundai will be investing about 1,400 crore of rupees into this facility. German automotive major ZF also has announced its largest engineering and R&D facility with over 3,000 employees. In fact, this will be their largest center in the world, anywhere in the world, with about 3,000 employees in Nanakram Guda, Hyderabad, and ZF will be a major part also of Telangana Mobility Valley. This facility is among, like I said, the 100-odd software development centers and 18 major centers in the world, but this will be the largest of theirs in the world. Fisker, another very interesting and happening electric vehicle manufacturer from the United States, when we visited US recently, has announced its software development center first in India, in High-Tech City area, and they will be launching it soon as well. Callaway Golf, another large global American sports equipment manufacturer company, has also set up its software center, which myself and Jayesh Ranjan have inaugurated recently. So you can see an eclectic group, companies in mobility, companies in insurance services, companies in financial services, companies also in sporting equipment manufacturing, automobiles, electric vehicles, and also interestingly digital transformation, etc. All of them making Hyderabad as their base and one of the largest bases in the world. I'm delighted with the kind of growth we've had over the last 1 year. Now, Tier 2 towns as well, as I was pointing out. In Warangal, both SoftPath and Quadrant have started their own operations. And in fact, Quadrant Resources is in the process of building its own campus, just like Scient, and I am hopeful that it will be completed by the end of this year. Both Genpact and Mindtree also have scheduled their operations for Warangal this year. So both Genpact and also Mindtree will be opening their offices and campuses this year in Warangal. Other Tier 2 towns such as Nizamabad and Mehboob Nagar and Siddipet, all of them, the plug-and-play facility that the government has invested in. We are building plug-and-play facilities where companies can move in and start working. All of them will be ready by October 2022, and an IT tower is also being built in Nalgonda, which will be unveiled sometime next year. What we are also proud of is not just the expansion in the traditional technology space. In emerging technologies, several institutions and several initiatives have also been grounded in Telangana, making us the preferred destination for emerging technology companies as well. Space-time framework in space technology, National Center for Additive Manufacturing in Osmania University have been launched recently. Medicine from the Sky, for driving adoption of drones in healthcare logistics, also has been launched by the government last year. Hara Bhara, an initiative to basically use seed copters, first aerial seeding project in partnership with a Hyderabad-based startup called as Marud Drones, was also launched. Sagu Bagu, a flagship agri-tech project in partnership with the World Economic Forum, has also been launched here. AI-based pest management for cotton deployed with 3,105 lead farmers and 653 agriculture extension officers from 6 major cotton growing districts has also been launched. Our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu, keeps reminding us that any technology which does not have a positive societal impact is futile, no matter how cool it is, no matter how fancy it is futile unless it has a strong, positive societal impact. So therefore, as you can tell, in health, in agriculture, and other important sectors for the state, and especially those that touch the lives of common man on a day-to-day basis, on the man on the ground on a day-to-day basis, have been the focus of our department. So we are working very closely with the Agriculture Department, we're working very closely with the Health Department, we're also working very closely with other line departments to ensure that artificial intelligence initiatives, blockchain initiatives, and cybersecurity initiatives are also created for the benefit of the citizens at large. Another very important achievement for the state has been electronic service delivery and the Telangana State Technological Services. Our ESD currently delivers 600 plus services offered through the 4,500 plus Me Seva centers, serving 2.6 crore citizens per annum, handling transactions worth rupees 4,500 crores. Telangana is number 2, in e-transactions per population in the country after Lakshadweep. Of course, Lakshadweep is a very, very small entity. As per the transactions recorded between June 2014 and May 2022, after Lakshadweep, Telangana stands number 2. Several e-governance initiatives were created, including T-App Folio, T-Wallet, real-time digital authentication of identity, pensioners' life certificate through selfie, RTA Fest for the Transport Department services. Recently, when I was in the World Economic Forum at Davos, when I mentioned the fact that RTDAI, with the real-time digital authentication of identity, can be used in Telangana to renew your license, driving license, on a Sunday, a lot of people there were very, very impressed and amused. I don't know how many of you knew you could do it, but for those of you who would want to renew your license, even on a holiday, you can do it using using this facial recognition feature. In Telangana, we also use facial recognition and AI basically to ensure that no pensioner has to go back to a government office to renew their certification. Also, we can use facial recognition to control, of course, during law and order situations. Joel alluded to social harmony, the communal harmony in Telangana, and the efficient law and order. I think one of the things we've done there as well is leverage technology judiciously, without, of course, intruding into the private space of citizens, to ensure that the city and the state remain peaceful and remain calm. We also have used technology in the cases of large-scale gatherings like the Samakka Saraka Jatara at Medaram, where if a missing person, if a missing child or a missing person has to be traced, we were able to use facial recognition for that kind of an effort as well. So these are all the positive utilizations of technology that the government of Telangana has shown, has demonstrated to the rest of India as well. Several major e-governance initiatives were undertaken for several departments, as I pointed out, including revenue, IGRS, veterinary and animal husbandry, agriculture, education, transport, health, BC welfare, Panchayati Raj, planning, the CCLA and housing departments. Friendly Electronic Services and Transport Department actually won the Best Digital Technology Sabha Award 2021 in the Artificial Intelligence category. I think the feature that was mentioned for renewal of driver's license is what won them this award. I'm very proud also that Telangana State Innovation Cell has conducted several events, including the Intinta Innovator Exhibition 2021. We believe in catching our youngsters and innovators at a very young age. Intinta Innovator Gramina Awards for rural innovators. Azadi Ki Amrut Mahotsav, Assistive Technology Exhibition 2.0, School Innovation Challenge 2021-22, I2E Lab, Innovation to Entrepreneurship Lab that is, Social Entrepreneurship Summit Impulse 2022, Tea Innovation Mahotsav, Village Innovation Challenge, Teacher Innovation Repository, Youth for Social Impact, etc. All of these have been conducted by the TSIC. Now TSIC is shaping up into something truly unique and truly all-encompassing, rewarding and recognizing our social innovators, rural innovators, young innovators, and innovators even from non-technology spaces. And my compliments to Shanta and the entire team on doing a wonderful job there. Now, T-Hub, as all of you know, probably most of you know, the number of estimated startups in the state have risen from about 400 in 2016 to about 2,000 now. And T-Hub will further boost the growth of this ecosystem. Lab 32, a flagship program of T-Hub for seed accelerator stage, is focused on enabling them to self-sustain and grow. Rubrix, T-Hub's first ever program on product development was launched in 2021 to support early stage technology startups with ready prototypes in hardware and software. AIC T-Hub Foundation, a partnership between Atal Innovation Mission and T-Hub, is created to foster a culture of innovation across India by supporting startups in healthcare, mobility and sustainability sectors. Cinepreneur, a joint program between T-Hub and ME, which is the Media and Entertainment School, was created to train professionals in the media and entertainment space. T-Hub was also engaged with more than 600 corporates to support their innovation journey. The list includes Facebook, Uber, HCL, Boeing, Microsoft, Qualcomm, etc. T-Hub has also forged new partnerships with JK Tech, Maruti Suzuki, Citibank, Renault Nissan, and HCL in the last 1 year. T-Hub has created several funding initiatives: T-Angel, Digital India Scale-Up Program, T-Fund, and Startup Seed India Fund. T-Hub has partnered with international ecosystem enablers and governments like Redberry Earth Foundation, Digital Catapult, UK government's Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Lathrop University, etc. My compliments to Srinivas Garu and the entire team of T-Hub on doing a fabulous job, and I'm also happy and proud to share with you that the new phase of T-Hub, phase 2, that brilliant, beautiful looking building that you run into in Knowledge City, will be launched on the 28th of June, end of this month, this year. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to invite a lot of startup founders. We're going to celebrate with the startup ecosystem in Hyderabad. One of the questions I keep getting asked is on the unicorns from Hyderabad. I have to confess, while I'm not as super excited about the number of unicorns currently, we only have 4, but I do feel very strongly about this, that many more are around the corner, and you will see some of them popping out of Hyderabad this financial year, and I'm very confident about it. V-Hub, India's only women entrepreneurs hub, has created several programs to encourage women and girl children, including girls in STEM and V-Alpha. V-Hub has been selected as an incubator under the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, and an amount of rupees 5 crores was sanctioned, out of which 4.5 crores has been disbursed to 13 promising startups. V-Hub has incubated a startup, Sortizy, that won Google Play's Best of 2021 award in the Daily Essentials category. And several of V-Hub startups have won accolades. My compliments to Deepthi Raula and the entire team of VHub on actually, in fact, every time I meet an entrepreneur from other part of the country, I invite them, I actually urge them to pay a visit to VHub, T-Hub, and understand how well these two institutions have shaped up over the last few years. Now, T-Works is another extremely exciting opportunity which will be unveiled sometime during this year. T-Works has designed, I think possibly in August, we are looking to inaugurate this, has designed several innovative products including a custom PCB for a mobile charging solution, development of an automated quilling tool, etc. for helping rural innovators. I may have confused you a bit. T-Works is already running from a makeshift premises, but a full-scale 120,000 square foot facility would be unveiled in August this year. T-Works, which is already already has a very promising team, has been doing great work in partnership with, they've partnered with ICFAI, MSME, NSIC, NSTI, CITD, CCMB, LVPEI, NIFT, and ICRISAT. Lots of acronyms there, to expand collaboration opportunities. T-Works has onboarded Mauser Electronics for providing support for the procurement of high-end prototyping equipment in the electronics test and measurement fields. T-Works has also designed and developed an affordable oxygen concentrator during the pandemic, which can filter out oxygen from the ambient air and deliver more than 90% pure oxygen to the patients in need. GE Appliances assembled 5 concentrators with training from T-Works and were donated to the needy during the pandemic. My compliments to Sujay Karampuri and the entire team of T-Works on doing a fabulous job, with the kind of limited resources you've had. Once we launch T-Works, the full-time, full-scale facility, you'll see a lot more impactful work from T-Works as well. Now, Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge, TASK, is another institution which we're very proud of. It's partnering with 718 colleges across the state of Telangana, which includes engineering, degree, MCA, MBA, and polytechnic institutions. 30,000 new students have registered with TASK in the last academic year. A total of 2,000 faculty were trained in various technical and soft skills. Training the trainer is one of TASK's mandates, and they have done really well on that as well. A total of 107,000 students have been skilled through TASK in the last 1 year alone. Several new partners are associated with TASK, including Google Cloud, IBM Open PTech, Salesforce, Kalyani Rafael Advanced Systems, Cisco, Infosys, Mahindra Pride Classroom, Safran Electrical and Power India, ARM University, Google Kotlin, ISRO NRSC, Nagaro, Clusters AI, Oracle Academy, Amazon Web Services, etc. TASK has run 129 job melas and placement drives and generated 16,912 job openings and placed a lot of students in the ESDM sector over the last 1 year. To be precise, 6,213 students placed last 1 year alone. TASK has also won Outstanding Youth Transformation Initiatives by Indie Global Media Network at their India Global Education and Skills Summit 2021. They have also won the Global Ignite 2021 Excellence Award. My compliments to Shrikant Sinha and the entire team of TASK on a fabulous job, and I hope that we continue to do even better. In electronics sector, Radiant Appliances and Electronics has set up a manufacturing unit for LED TVs with a capacity of 25 lakh per annum, or 25 lakh televisions per annum, employing 2,800 people in the ECT EMC, Electronic Manufacturing Cluster. Premier Engines has set up a solar manufacturing plant in ECT. CCESDM approved 60 proposals last year with an investment commitment of 2,700 crores, an employment generation potential of nearly 11,300 people in the year 2021-22. Electronics and T-Fiber, another very important initiative, is also ongoing because of COVID. It had slowed down a bit, but out of a total scope of 22,298 kilometers, 17,328 kilometers has been completed, and out of a total scope of 425 lit up completed mandals, 404 mandals has been completed. T-Fiber has received the letter of intent from the Department of Telecom granting universal license for access services. A list of 97,115 government institutions has been compiled for connectivity. We will be completing the project despite COVID and despite all the setbacks we've had. We will be completing this project this year for sure. My compliments again to Sujay, who heads both T-Fiber and Electronics Department as well. SoftNet again has become an extremely important, has played an extremely important role in the pandemic in reaching out through our digital medium in terms of education to students. They've partnered with the Department of School Education, Women and Child Welfare Development, our Board of Intermediate Education for transmitting for transmitting digital lessons for the school children. TSAT has telecast several lessons for guidance to group aspirants, with Government of Telangana announcing recruitment for more than 80,000 jobs. TSAT has an even more important role to play with their YouTube content and with their Vidya and Nipuna channels that have been doing a great job. TSAT has telecast interactive programs even for farmers, such as Raitu Mitra for their benefit, and Arogya Mitra for live and interactive advice from doctors to healthcare professionals and citizens. What is extremely impressive about TSAT is TSAT user base has increased to 36 lakhs from 23 lakhs a year before, and 14.95 crore views have been achieved on the TSAT YouTube channel last year. My compliments to Shailesh Reddy Garu and the entire team of TSAT. I think you guys have done a great job. I think the pandemic has really shown us the usefulness of TSAT and digital mediums to further take further our initiatives on education. But there's a lot more ground to be covered. We also have to start looking at not only the job opportunities in the state of Telangana, but also for civil services, possibly for union government recruitments, railway recruitments, and other staff selection commissions and others as well. So let's start gearing up for that. Digital media. In fact, the digital media division is one of the most active divisions in the state of Telangana in IT department. The division has been created and maintained social media handles for several ministers, including Chief Minister and mine handle also. Digital media division has created portals for several departments, including the Telangana State Commission for Women, Telangana Sports School, International Arbitration and Mediation Center, etc. Digital Media Wing has been selected for the Public Relations Council of India, PRCI, Chanakya Award for the second year in a row. My compliments to Dilip Konatham, the Director of Digital Media, and his entire team on doing a fabulous job. On open data, 1,423 data sets from various departments have been made available in the open data portal on varied areas and subjects. Many of these data sets are updated up to most granular level every month. More than 70% of the departments have made at least one data set available on the open data portal. Several prestigious projects have been run using the data made available on the open data platform, including the World Economic Forum, the UNDP Food System Project, and the Agri Collaboratory, where commodity prices are being accessed. Again, Dilip Konatham and his team run this open data platform. My compliments to them. On Photonics Valley Corporation, which was an initiative of the government of Telangana, we've launched what is called as a T-Phase, Telangana Fabless Accelerator, through cloud enablement, an incubation program designed to support the startups in fabless VLSI chip design activity. It was inaugurated in 2021. 15 promising startups are enrolled as part of this program. So these are broadly, at a very high level, at a very macro level, the number of initiatives that the government has taken over the last 1 year alone, and I'm not even going into the last 7 years. If you go back into last 8 years, I think I can possibly read out for another hour or so, because there's so many initiatives. But what I would like to once again repeat and reiterate, we are not resting on laurels. We are not content on being number 2 in the country. We are giving the premier destinations in India in terms of technology a run for their money. We have in fact every report released by CBRE, JLL, Cushman and others clearly shows that Hyderabad has been beating every single city in the country in terms of office space absorption. And I think thanks primarily to the IT industry for the large scale growth that they've had in the city over the last few years, particularly even in the midst of the pandemic. I think that has contributed to a lot of office space absorption. That has also created a great deal of demand for affordable homes and even luxury homes. And as a part of that growth story, in fact, CREDAI and other institutions that I keep talking to have been telling me that this city and its potential is being recognized by the rest of the country. We have developers from all over India coming and investing in Telangana, coming and investing in Hyderabad. And I assure you that the government is not going to rest on its laurels. Our appetite to do more, our passion to deliver more, our passion to not just prove a point to ourselves, because we fought really hard for this state. It's not just a point that we have to prove to ourselves, but also to the rest of the country that a new state like Telangana, which has been doing exceedingly well, if a new state can do so much, I think the rest of the country also should take a lot of pride, a lot of, a sense of, I'd say, competition can be inculcated by way of our achievements, and together with the other states, other ecosystems, we can actually build a very strong country. I'd just like to say a few things in Telugu quickly, I think, for the consumption of my friends from Telugu media here. Gata samvatsaram, mana rashtra IT రంగాన్ని మీరు తీసుకున్నట్టయితే ఒక అద్భుతమైన పురోగతిని మనం సాధించగలిగాము. మనం 26.14% వృద్ధి రేటుతో ఐటీ రంగంలో 1,83,569 కోట్ల ఐటీ ఎగుమతులకు చేరుకోగలిగాం. భారతదేశ సగటు చూసినట్టయితే కేవలం 17% మాత్రమే వృద్ధి రేటు ఉంటే తెలంగాణలో 26.14% ఉండడం అనేది నిజంగా కూడా మనందరం కూడా గర్వపడాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. మన ఐటీ ఇండస్ట్రీకి ముఖ్యంగా నేను హృదయపూర్వకమైన అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తా ఉన్నాను. ఎందుకంటే వారి పార్టిసిపేషన్తో, వారి భాగస్వామ్యంతో, వారి యాక్టివ్ ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్తోనే ఇది సాధ్యమైంది. ముఖ్యంగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోదగ్గ విషయం ఏమంటే ఈ వృద్ధి రేటు 26.14 ఏదైతే నేను మెన్షన్ చేసినానో అది ఈ పాండమిక్ మధ్యలో, అంటే మన కోవిడ్ రెండో వేవ్ కూడా మనం గత సంవత్సరం ఏప్రిల్లో చూసినాం. అవన్నీ అధిగమించి, ఆ అవరోధాలన్నీ అధిగమించి మరి మనం ఈ రకమైన వృద్ధి రేటు సాధించడం అనేది నిజంగా కూడా గర్వకారణం. దాంతోపాటు ఒక్కసారి మన లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ నంబర్స్ చూసినట్టయితే 1,49,000 పైచిలకు కొత్త ఉద్యోగాలు ఐటీ రంగంలో ప్రత్యక్షంగా, అంటే దాదాపు 1,50,000 కొత్త ఉద్యోగాలు ఒక సంవత్సరంలోనే వచ్చినాయి ఐటీ రంగంలో. దాంతోపాటు మనం చూసినట్టయితే మనం 2014 రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడ్డ నాటికి నేటికి ఒక్కసారి నంబర్స్ చూసుకుంటే 2014లో ఆనాడు 57,258 కోట్ల ఎగుమతులు ఉండేది తెలంగాణ నుంచి. ఈరోజు 1,83,569 కోట్లు, అంటే 300% కంటే ఎక్కువ రెట్లు వృద్ధి మనం సాధించగలిగినాం. అంటే 3 రెట్ల కంటే పైచిలకు పెరిగినాం. చాలా సంతోషకరం ఇది. దాంతోపాటు ఆనాడు 2014లో ఐటీ రంగంలో ప్రత్యక్షంగా 3,23,397 మంది పనిచేసేవాళ్ళు. ఈరోజు 7,78,000, అంటే దాదాపు 8 లక్షల మంది ఐటీ రంగంలో ప్రత్యక్షంగా పనిచేస్తూ ఉండడం అనేది అందులో డెఫినెట్గా మనందరికీ గర్వకారణం. ఎందుకంటే ఈ రంగం వృద్ధి రేటు, ఈ రంగంలో వస్తున్న గ్రోత్ చూసినట్టయితే తెలంగాణ ఎంత వేగంగా ఎదుగుతున్నది, హైదరాబాద్ ఎంత వేగంగా ఎదుగుతున్నది గమనించవచ్చు. దాన్ని బట్టి ఒక బేరీజ్ వేయవచ్చు. దీంతోపాటు హైదరాబాద్ బయట కూడా, హైదరాబాద్లోనే కాకుండా వరంగల్ లాంటి పట్టణంలో కూడా ఈరోజు టెక్ వేవ్ అనే కంపెనీ, క్వాడ్రంట్ అనే కంపెనీ, అదే మాదిరిగా మన సైంట్, టెక్ మహీంద్రా, అదేవిధంగా మైండ్ ట్రీ, జెన్పాక్ లాంటి కంపెనీస్ వరంగల్లో కూడా విస్తరిస్తూ ఉన్నాయి. సాఫ్ట్ ప్యాత్ అనే కంపెనీ విస్తరిస్తూ ఉంది. దీంతోపాటు ఖమ్మంలో కూడా టెక్ వేవ్ వాళ్ళ క్యాంపస్ పెట్టుకోబోతూ ఉన్నారు. కరీంనగర్లో ఎక్లాట్ అనే కంపెనీ తమ సంస్థను విస్తరిస్తూ ఉంది. ఈ రకంగా ద్వితీయ శ్రేణి పట్టణాలుగా ఏవైతే మనం చెప్పుకుంటామో ఆ పట్టణాల్లో కూడా కరీంనగరు, వరంగల్, ఖమ్మము, మహబూబ్ నగరు, నల్లగొండ, సిద్దిపేట, ఆదిలాబాద్, రామగుండం, నిజామాబాద్, ఈ అన్ని పట్టణాల్లో కూడా ఈ సంవత్సరం గణనీయమైన పురోగతి మనం చూడబోతా ఉన్నాం. రాబోయే 5 ఏళ్లలో ద్వితీయ శ్రేణి పట్టణాల నుంచి కూడా ఒక 50,000 ఐటీ ఉద్యోగాలు సృష్టించాలనే లక్ష్యం ఏదైతే ప్రభుత్వం పెట్టుకుందో ఆ దిశగా మన ప్రయాణం చక్కగా ప్రారంభమైంది. తప్పకుండా నాకు సంపూర్ణమైన విశ్వాసం ఉంది. ఆ దిశగా మీ అందరి చొరవతో, మీ అందరి ఆదరాభిమానాలతో, మీ అందరి ప్రోత్సాహంతో ఆ మైలురాయిని కూడా అధిగమిస్తామనే విశ్వాసం ఉంది. బట్ వీఆర్ నాట్ కంటెంట్, అంటే ఈ సాధించిన విజయాలతో పొంగిపోకుండా, సాధించిన విజయాలతో సంబరపడకుండా మరింత పురోగతిని, మరింత ఉపాధిని తెలంగాణ యువత కోసం సృష్టించాలనే లక్ష్యం ఏదైతే గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు మాకు నిర్దేశించారో దానికి అనుగుణంగానే హైదరాబాద్లో బహుముఖంగా విస్తరించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉన్నాం. కొంపల్లిలోని గేట్వే ఐటీ టవర్ కానీ, అదే మాదిరిగా ఉప్పల్లో జెన్పాక్ట్ వారు నెలకొల్పుతున్న 2.2 మిలియన్, అంటే 22 లక్షల స్క్వేర్ ఫుట్ల క్యాంపస్ కానీ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా నగరం బహుముఖంగా విస్తరించడానికి, పశ్చిమ భాగంలో ఉండే ఐటీ రంగం మరి మిగతా ఏరియాస్ కూడా విస్తరించడానికి కూడా దోహదపడుతుందని బలంగా విశ్వసిస్తూ దాంతోపాటు ద్వితీయ శ్రేణి పట్టణాలకు కూడా ఐటీ రంగాన్ని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లే బాధ్యతను కూడా ప్రభుత్వం స్వీకరిస్తుంది, బలంగా ఆ ప్రయత్నం చేస్తుందని చెప్పి కూడా తెలియజేస్తూ, సాంకేతిక పరిజ్ఞానం సామాన్యుడికి ఉపయోగపడకపోతే అది నిష్ఫలం అనే గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారి మాట ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్నే తారక మంత్రంలా తీసుకొని ముందుకు పోతూ అన్ని రంగాల్లో కూడా అన్ని లైన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్లో కూడా ప్రభుత్వంలో ఉండే ప్రతి డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఏదైతే సిటిజన్తో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఉండే డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఉంటుందో ఆ డిపార్ట్మెంట్లో కూడా సాంకేతిక పరిజ్ఞానాన్ని వినియోగించి సామాన్యుడికి సాంకేతికత ఫలాలు అందాలనే ఒక బలమైన ప్రయత్నాన్ని ప్రభుత్వం కొనసాగిస్తుంది అని తెలియజేస్తూ, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి నా బృందం, మా ఆఫీసర్స్ బృందం, మా టీం ఏదైతే ఉందో జయేష్ రంజన్ గారి నేతృత్వంలో ఉన్న టీం కానీ, అదేవిధంగా తెలంగాణలోని ఐటీ రంగం మొత్తం దానికి సారథ్యం వహిస్తున్న ఐసియా కానీ, నాస్కామ్ కానీ, ఇతర సంస్థలు కానీ వారందరికీ మనస్ఫూర్తిగా హృదయపూర్వకంగా నా ధన్యవాదాలు, నమస్కారాలు. జై తెలంగాణ.
Sir, thank you, sir. So last year we had 46,000 new jobs. In comparison, we have 1,49,506 new jobs this year. So what do you think? Is it a good number? Do you think our Honorable Minister or Principal Secretary deserve a good round of applause?